Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, help us come together tonight to make the best decisions possible for the citizens of Boonville by this council. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Barry. Roll call.
Gilbert,
Here.
Venable, Turner.
Here.
Stock.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Meadows.
Here.
Cowherd.
Here.
Harville.
Here. Hearing of citizens' comments. We got anybody that wants to get up and give a speech, please do. I will take that as a no. Approval of the minutes of May 2, 2022. They were on pages 3 through 6. Any questions or changes? And they will stand as submitted. There are no consent items. Presentation of accounts and claims, it's on page 7.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries in various accounts against the city of Boonville which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on May 16, 2022. The sum of $419,562.87. General fund, $147,140.48. Sanitation, $24,004.67. CIP tax, $77,206.73. Waterworks, $25,065.54. Capital projects, $11,248.02. Wastewater, $115,394.34. Tourism, $8,656.98. Gaming, $10,213.94. Parks and Water, $632.17. Kemper sales tax, $0.00. Economic Development Project, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $419,562.87, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on May 16, 2022, read for the second time this May 16, 2022. The copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I make a motion that we pay these accounts and salaries.
Thanks, Susan. Second? Okay, we'll go with Mike. Roll call.
Elbert,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville.
Yes. Passes. There is no unfinished business. We'll go with item 8, new business. First item is first reading of bill number 2022-011, approving Boone Point final plat, number 2. It's on pages 8 and 9, and the maps are enclosed. The second item is first reading of,
Oh, I have to
You
read
gotta
that.
read it.
go ahead.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving the final site plan for Boone Point subdivision Phase 2, located on Ashley Road adjacent to Rolling Hills Park.
Thank you. Second item is the first reading of bill number 2022-012, approving the lease agreement with Boone Slick Heartland YMCA. It's on pages 10 through 31.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing and improving a lease renewal agreement by and between the City of Boonville and the Boone Slick Heartland YMCA, Inc. for the purposes of operating a chartered YMCA and associated activities at the Johnson Field House, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay, we will take up the discussion of the lease agreement at the next meeting when we vote. But I want to make sure that you take the time to read through it. There's a lot of pages there. The particular agreement that we have has been around for several years. There's not much in the way of changes, but it's still, for the new people, it's worth it taking the time to get through.
Is there any chance you can't even take one question? One question I had just makes
Just for
clear,
you.
just so
Just
it's
for
clear.
you, Albert.
And it's a simple question, but the the Johnson Field House, does that include the swimming pool, the exercise room, the after school, and the upstairs? Okay.
Yep, good question. Good clarification. Okay. All right,
I also had one question as well,
go Si.
if you allow.
Well, I can't stop you now because
True that. The precedents have been made. The repair costs increasing from $300 to $1,000, is that basically an allowance, or is that just, here's $1,000?
It's actually the other way, so they make repairs up to $1,000. So if their air conditioning breaks down, which is one of the items listed in Exhibit D, and say it's $4,000, they pay $1,000 and we pay $3,000. Although in fairness to Matt, he rarely, if ever, asks for anything. I think the first time you even came was when the big unit broke. That was like 100,000 or 60,000, whatever that one was for the pool. So he rarely asked for it. We just changed it. It had been 300, and in looking back, it had been 300 since the very first lease that we entered into. So we just raised it to maybe reflect a more current price of.
So that's money coming from lease or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, item 9, reports of standing committees. Planning and zoning is on page 32 and 33. Any comments or questions? Street, alley, and sanitation boards on page 34. Any questions or comments? Jeff, anything to say?
Agree. Stay with one-way, or get rid of the one-way street.
Okay, and then last item, Boonville Housing Authority on page 35. Any questions or comments?
Real quick, on the Boonville Housing Authority, I actually attended the meeting, took off work and went down there. Extremely well-run meeting. I have to give them props. They were awesome. As Barry expressed in previous meetings, they're at 98% capacity. They've got one opening with an applicant already, and then they were looking at their funding for the ensuing year. But yeah, it was very well ran, and they were very welcoming. So
Good.
Mr. Mayor, I got a question on the planning and zoning committee, planning and zoning, about this grade upgrade. It said we have ordinance for 10, and the grade is at 15. Should we change that ordinance to reflect this?
Well, you could. Let me start it there. And you could ask planning and zoning to consider looking at their standards. In this instance, the planning and zoning committee just felt that the geography and the bedrock warranted allowing a 15% grade at this place because of feasibility of building a road. If, as a council, you all wanted to look at your standards that are in planning and zoning, the width of streets, the grade of streets, all those sort of things, you could ask planning and zoning to review those requirements and make recommendations. But in this case, we're just giving them a variance and allowance to do it in this one instance.
It might be important to note as well, it's only 160 feet. So similar to Main Street Hill, but much, much shorter, whereas Main Street Hill's a ways, so.
Okay. Does that answer it, Barry?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right. Item 10, reports of city officials. City administrator.
So one item that was in here, and we talked about it at the councilman meeting previously, was the annexation and rezoning for Jesse Verdal Memorial Airport. And as we continue the process to annex that into the city, we need a motion and a roll call vote to set a public hearing in front of you all, the city council, at June 20th. So we'll just do it right at 7 o'clock in conjunction with the regular council meeting. So I'm hoping someone would make that motion so we can proceed with annexation.
Susan?
I motion that we set up a vote for June 20th on this
Yeah, set the annexation and rezoning public hearing. Okay,
I'll second it, Mr. Mayor.
all right. Thank you, Andrew. Any questions? Roll call?
Hilbert,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd,
Yes.
Harville.
Yes.
Then I just
Water district buyout?
I just wanted to let you guys know that I had passed a current water district buyout agreement, which is the same agreement. It's a $240,000 one-time payout to the water district, which will include all of Fox Hollow, the golf course, and the airport, with a payment to be made in this current fiscal year, which we've planned for. I sent it to their attorney, Mike Conway. He didn't see any concerns with it. I'm not sure when the water district meets in the month, so I have not heard back, but assuming we have some positive feedback from them, then likely we'll have a first reading on that agreement shortly so we can sort of finalize that piece of the annexation. I had one other thing I just wanted to note, Jeff shared with us today, so that if you've gone up by Morgan Street, the weather has been very kind to us. So we have, thanks to Grice, they've made significant progress up there on Morgan Street. And we had a lengthy meeting with FEMA, and he's had several others since then. And we are proceeding with pretty much everything we had planned to do, including some things that aren't just replacement in the FEMA world. There's replacement and there's mitigation. They're not the same. Mitigation requires an extra layer of approval because that's trying to make it so it doesn't happen again. But both of those have thus far, we're being reimbursed at 90%. So kudos to Jeff for sticking with it, but it's definitely going to be worth it by the time we get all the projects done. So
What's our timeline look like on that, Jeff?
Depends on the weather. Just like that, if it stays dry, I think it'll be done within a month.
Okay.
That part of it, the FEMA part of it's going on pretty good too, so we just now finished 3 site inspections, which was big, so that's a good turnover right there.
Okay.
Good.
Anybody else questions for Jeff? Thank you, sir. You got anything else?
that's it.
Okay, got one committee appointment approval we need. It's on page 36. Danny Taft for the fire board. Could I have a motion to approve him, please? Okay, Steve, Mike second. Questions? Roll call.
Danny is not new, is that right? He's just re-up?
Yes, sir. Yep, good memory. Good for you.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Stock.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
Cowherd.
Yes.
Harville.
Yes. Okay, item 2. I'm gonna require some help. But first, we have some reading to take care of. I'm just gonna walk around.
Oh, okay.
I guess this is my copy. It's going to go around the table.
Oh, is this for me?
Come on, come on. Got yours?
Got it. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, Ed.
Read it, please.
I just made I don't know how many to make, so I made X.
You wanna take that one?
No, it's fine. They all are aware of our misery.
How hot is it, Kate? How hot was it last week?
Friday was 85 degrees in there.
And we don't memorize that or anything, Andrew. Everybody done?
Yep.
Nope, Barry's still working. Okay, questions first. Go.
If you want to get it done, you might as well do it because the costs keep going up and up and up.
Yep.
I mean, you get a 10% increase probably every half a year, if not more, right now. So if you want to get it done, you get it done now.
Okay. Susan,
Just curious, how old is the current system?
2005. Which was short.
2012.
Excuse me.
2012. It's when we moved into
We-
City Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had very shortly after we moved in. And one of the disadvantages of when it was put in is they took everything that was in there out in order to put this in. So all of the old pieces and parts aren't in there, the old ducting and that kind of thing. So,
So in 2012, a new system was totally put in?
It was part of the renovation of City
Okay.
Hall.
It's
So-
just 10 years.
10 years.
We have put, yeah, we've probably put in about 100,000 into the system since its installation. It's never, frankly, it's never worked correctly. It's just reached a point where now, clearly, we're at a point where we're better off to put a whole new system in than to keep trying to fix it.
Do we have any guidance that says 100 to 150? Do we have any closer estimate, or does it kind of get in there and see what it is?
Yeah, and we've been working with home heating and cooling, and they're trying to reuse certain parts that they can if they're in good condition. So that's kind of what's been taking them a little while on the bid. And originally, I had just asked them for a budget number back when we were doing budget planning, and it's just taken them this long to kind of get there. So, the only thing he told me was, he said, well, you're gonna be over 75, so it's definitely gonna be prevailing wage. So, we've always figured it'll be somewhere in that 100 to 150,000. But it'll just depend on how many parts they can reuse.
They're not the same people that put in the system in 2012, are they?
Yep.
All right. They're just, yeah.
Yeah,
And was there any, it does state that other providers in Boonville cannot provide this. I mean, it's a special type of system, VRV. But was there any thought, are there anybody else?
That's a good question,
Yeah.
and no.
Right.
Because the people we're gonna use to do this are the people that have got us where we are right now. We wouldn't have, the last couple of years, we wouldn't have performed at all if it hadn't been for them. So they understand it, they understand the system, they understand what needs to be done. Going through the whole process would take us an inordinate amount of time. So,
Excellent.
There are other, I mean, we used to work with a company called TMI out of St. Louis. That was originally the people. Rourke Heating and Cooling is who actually put the system in. So there are other providers. As Ned said, we've been working with home heating and cooling. They've kind of helped us get to where we are today to kind of understanding the system. But also we'll continue to use them as as the repair. So there's a benefit also that the people who installed the system will be repairing the system. That's been kind of the challenge too, is we found out when we moved in, they would go, well, where are your filters? There are some that are like, you can't even get to them. So like, we just didn't know where anything was. So they had to come in and kind of relearn the whole system. So there's some advantages also to the people who repair it, also install it.
They have very good reviews online, by the way.
I didn't hear you.
Said they have very good reviews online.
Oh,
Andrew
okay.
brought them up, and they were pretty top notch.
So, yeah, so they look like a good business. They have very high reviews, 10 plus years in business in Sedalia, averaging a 4.9, which is awesome. I guess I just would like to make sure we're keeping costs under control. That would be my only area of caution. I think we definitely need to do this. It makes sense. Probably an investment today will pay off dividends for the next, 10, 15, 20 years. My only concern would be the 100 to 150. That's a pretty big gap. I would like to see them kind of narrow that down more. But otherwise, I'm in support of the investment. I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I think they'll give me a solid number, and in fact, I think if we get to the point where we're going to just proceed without going through the competitive bidding, I'll call them and say, I'm ready. I need I'll do like a purchase order type thing, so you guys will still see it, and they'll solid up that number for us.
Is this just a general fund expense? How does that work from the city side?
Yeah, this one we'll pull out of our gaming fund. We'll use our gaming revenues for this, but many cities would use a general fund.
Good point. Barry? Did you have some?
No.
Oh, okay. You had the look on your face there, so I kind
Oh,
of thought
man.
maybe you did.
That's terrible.
Okay, Albert?
No, I agree totally with Steve. I think we need to get on board now as the cost is escalating every minute. For sure, so.
I'll make a
Sooner the
comment
better.
about the urgency thing here.
What's that?
I'll make a comment about the urgency thing in a minute, but yeah, good point. You're right. We need to move on it. Mike?
Needs to be done.
Yeah, needs to be done. We will do it. Teresa has a plan.
Teresa has a plan.
Come on up.
On down.
There's gonna be a period of time in between.
Plan.
And while we're in the tweener time, Teresa has a plan.
I've got a plan, yeah. I've planned for this for years, so, actually, okay,
Since
so,
2012, right?
yeah, or 2014, December of 14 at least. Okay, so, a lot of things that we have done is actually helping us kind of move down here temporarily with a new printer back here in this office. Not the new printer, it's the old copy machine that we had up there at City Hall. Which we love, yes, and it's been moved back here. Here about 2 months ago, I had it hooked up to our network so we could actually use it here. And then I got this computer back here, our streaming computer. I got it to where people can go ahead and log on, and it's on the network, and we have all of our drives on there that we need. So with that being said, we also have 3 laptops. So Kate has a laptop, Amber has a laptop, and I have a laptop. We'll be able to move down here. One of us will be in this office back here that's behind the dais. Someone can go in here, and then someone can go into the old city administrator's office. And then Kim, she can use this computer, which also has Encode. So all the laptops and this computer has Encode, which is our software, our billing software, so we can do whatever we need to. I got the printer hooked up today, so I can actually print reports from Encode, so that'll help Kim. And then the receptionist, Brenda, she could actually go to the vacant utility billing clerk's desk, which has Encode and everything there. And that's kind of the idea that Kate and I discussed, to go ahead and get things to where we actually can get workable. I've already been down here for about a week because I'm too hot-blooded to take the heat up there. So, yeah, Kate and I discussed it quite a bit, and so I think we're good. I actually finished that up about 5:30, 6 o'clock this evening.
Thank you, Teresa. Any questions for Teresa?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, thank you.
Two fairly quick comments. There's been a lot of discussion on this, obviously, in the last, week, 10 days, 2 weeks, trying to figure out a way to do it. We're gonna say a special thank you to Kate and Mr. Obley, our attorney. They found that there was an ability for the mayor to declare an emergency, basically. And under that, the mayor has the authority to move forward and do this. I am not that kind of a mayor, guys. You already know that. I'm not the boss. I'm the coordinator. But in this case, we need to do it, and we need to do it now. We don't want to fiddle fart around. We want to just get it done. Thus, the letter, okay? You've got it. It's got my signature on it. So I get to be responsible. How's that?
Sounds good.
Any other comments or questions?
Kate, one more thing.
Thank
So, sorry. It looks like they did, or they, on their website, they did work for the YMCA here in town. What was that work?
I think
Our
they
YMCA
did the Dectron unit. Did they do the, no, they didn't do the Dectron unit. They did some,
Was it the pool unit?
I think they maybe did something with the pool unit. We've used them now more of late since and they've now switched, they do all of Kemper for us as well, because Kemper has all of the Daikin units, which is the VRV system as well. So everywhere we have VRV, we call home heating and cooling, so.
Great, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, city clerk?
Yeah, hold on. I do have something.
Go for it.
May is 5 Mondays, so our next meeting is in 3 weeks, which is June 6th. Monday, June 6th. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, any miscellaneous? From anybody? Go for it.
I had a question on, I found the chart in here on the fire department. I don't think Mr. Carmichael's here, is he?
Nope.
I did have a question. I'm sorry?
He's on vacation.
Oh, he's on vacation.
That's why you have a question, because he's not here.
Well, I just, a question for the record here. I guess I was wondering, on these medical calls, that seems to be the heaviest activity. It's a jump probably around 25% from last year to this year. And I guess I'm wondering, how many of those calls do they actually provide assistance or actually did some work on the patient? That would be something of interest to me. Did they just respond or they actually do some work? Or
We'll get him to do the
triage
follow-up
or
for us
something? What's that?
on that. Yeah, we'll get him to do that, to break that down for us.
I think typically they're the first responders, so the ambulance will come after them. But they will typically, like you said, the triage stuff, the in-the-house stuff, and then kind of stabilize them until they can get out and then into the ambulance, and then the ambulance takes it over from there. When you kind of say it's how Pangborn, in your experience.
That sounds right to me.
So the police will often
So-
follow in, but I don't want to say that all 1,000, that's the typical pattern, but I'll ask Tim to clarify when he comes back in June.
Okay. And then, I guess on the, when the structure fires, which is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's home and building, is that, so we only had 8, well, let's see, let me follow that through here. 9, we only had 9 fires for building and homes? Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. And then the fire investigation, is that for arson? A possible of an arson fire? What is that, the investigation?
That's
You know?
what it's for, to see if we can nail down the cause.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, that's to try and nail down the cause.
The investigation?
That's what the, yeah,
Oh, the cause.
not the cost, the cause.
I'm sorry.
No, I heard it too.
I thought you said the cost. Okay, fine. So those were the three questions I had, and be interested, especially the one on the medical cause.
Okay.
Okay, that's good work. Thanks, sir. Albert? Any other miscellaneous? Could I have a motion to enter closed session? Real estate.
Mayor, I make a motion that we go into closed session.
Thank you, Susan. Second? Thank you, Steve. Roll call?
Oh, hold on,
I'm holding.
sorry. Let's write this down. Albert,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
and Harville.
Yes.